Anatomy and Physiology, Muscles and Movements, Things You Should Know, Questions and Answers, by Rumi Michael Lee. Introduction. I would like to thank and congratulate you for listening to this book, Anatomy and Physiology, Muscles and Movements, Things You Should Know, Questions and Answers. This book will help you understand, revise and have a good general knowledge and keywords of the human muscles and movements. Part 1. 1. The human body has how many muscles? The human body has approximately 600 muscles. 2. What are the two major types of muscles? The two major types of muscles are 1. Striated muscles that consist of the skeletal muscle and heart muscle. And 2. Smooth muscles, the intestines, the viscera, etc. 3. Are striated muscles voluntary? Yes, striated muscles are voluntary. 4. Is the heart muscle voluntary? No, the heart muscle is not voluntary. 5. What is the bulkiest muscle of the body? The bulkiest muscle of the body is the gluteus maximus. 6. What is the smallest muscle of the body? The smallest muscle of the body is the stapedius muscle. 7. What is the muscle used to extend the elbow? The muscle used to extend the elbow is the triceps brachii muscle. 8. What muscle is used to flex the elbow? The muscle used to flex the elbow is the biceps brachii muscle. 9. What is the most powerful muscle in the body? The most powerful muscle in the body is the gluteus maximus. 10. What is the function of skeletal muscles? Movement and contraction. 11. What does it take to make a muscle work differently? The muscle must remain contracted and be able to contract at different forces. Part 2. 1. What is a muscle fiber? A muscle fiber is a muscle cell. 2. What is contractility? Contractility is the ability of a muscle to shorten and swell by keeping the same volume. 3. What is excitability? Excitability is the ability of a muscle to react to stimulus. 4. How long does ATP, adenosine triphosphate, last? ATP lasts only a few seconds. 5. What triggers contraction? A motor neuron. 6. What is a motor neuron? A motor neuron is a nerve that stimulates skeletal muscle contraction. 7. What is a threshold? A threshold is the minimum tension for a muscle fiber to contract. 8. What is tonicity? Tonicity is the ability of a muscle to remain contracted, even at rest. 9. Which organ has skeletal and involuntary muscles at the same time? The heart. 10. What is myology? Myology is the study of muscles. 11. What is called a muscle that allows movement in the same direction? A muscle that allows movement in the same direction is called an agonist muscle. Part 3. 1. What is contractility? Contractility is the characteristic that allows a muscle to contract. 2. What is extensibility? Extensibility is the characteristic that allows a muscle to expand. 3. What is the most important muscle of breathing? The most important muscle of breathing is the diaphragm. 4. How many muscles are there on the upper limb? There are 59 muscles on the upper limb. 5. Which is the most extensive muscle? The latissimus dorsi is the most extensive muscle. 6. Name the 4 segments of the lower limb. The foot, the thigh, the pelvis and the leg. 7. What is the long palmar? The long palmar is an inconstant muscle. 8. Do we find the long palmar in everybody? No. 9. The shoulder girdle contains how many muscles? The shoulder girdle contains 15 muscles. 10. What is the function of the brachial muscle? Elbow flexion. 11. The arm has how many muscles? The arm has 4 muscles. Part 4. 1. There are how many intrinsic muscles of the hand? There are 20 intrinsic muscles of the hand. 2. What is the function of the trapezius? The mobilization of the scapula. 3. What is the function of the latissimus dorsi? Extension, adduction and medial rotation of the shoulder. 4. What is the function of the biceps brachii muscle? Flexion of the elbow and supination of the forearm. 5. What is the function of the pectoralis major muscle? Flexion, shoulder adduction and medial rotation. 6. What is the function of the quadriceps? The quadriceps are powerful extensors of the knee. 7. What is the function of the adductor muscles? The adductor muscles are the abductor of the hip. 8. When do we use a lot of the adductor muscles? We use a lot of the adductor muscles when walking. 9. What is your body position when you are seated? In the flexion position. 10. What is your body position when you are standing? In the extension position. 11. What is the function of the gluteus medius muscle? Abduction of the hip. Part 5. 1. How many muscles does the pelvic belt contain? The pelvic belt contains 12 muscles. 2. The thigh contains how many muscles? The thigh contains 11 muscles. 3. The leg has how many muscles? The leg has 12 muscles. 4. How many intrinsic muscles does the foot have? The foot has 21 intrinsic muscles. 5. What is the function of the long extensor of the hallux? Dorsal flexion of the ankle. 6. What is the function of the long fibula? Lateral ankle stabilization and ankle abduction and pronation. 7. What is the function of the gastrocnemius? The gastrocnemius participates in flexing the knee. 8. The Achilles tendon is also called the calcaneal tendon. 9. What is the function of the iliopsoas muscle? The iliopsoas muscle is a powerful flexor of the hip. 10. What is the function of the tensor fasciae lata? Flexion, medial rotation of the hip and abduction. 11. What is the function of the sartorius? Flexion, abduction, rotation and medial flexion of the knee and lateral rotation of the hip. Part 6. 1. Is the heart a skeletal muscle? No, the heart is not a skeletal muscle. 2. Are the skeletal muscles striated or smooth? Skeletal muscles are striated. 3. What are the characteristics of skeletal muscles? Skeletal muscles are voluntary, red and striated. 4. What are the characteristics of visceral muscles? Visceral muscles are involuntary, white and smooth. 5. Are the contractions of visceral muscles rapid? No, the contractions of visceral muscles are not rapid, they are slow. 6. What is the envelope surrounding and protecting the muscles? The aponeurosis. 7. The muscle that covers the intestine is called the visceral muscle. 8. What is the name of a muscle cell? A muscle fiber. 9. What does it mean that the muscles become fibrous? The muscles become fibrous means that connective tissues increase. 10. The sagittal plane is also called the longitudinal plane. 11. The coronal plane is also called the frontal plane. Part 7. 1. What type of muscles surrounds arterioles? Smooth muscles. 2. Name a response tissue. A muscle. 3. Do nerve cells have potential actions? No, nerve cells do not have potential actions. 4. What is responsible for the striated appearance of the muscle? The sarcomere. 5. What is the functional unit of the skeletal muscle called? The sarcomere. 6. What are myofilaments? Myofilaments are the proteins in muscle contractions. 7. What are sarcomeres? Sarcomeres are the smallest units of muscle fiber contraction. 8. What is a synergistic muscle? A synergistic muscle is when a muscle suppresses the action of a muscle that opposes it. 9. Long muscles allow what kind of movement? Long muscles allow high amplitude movements. 10. What is the function of the iliopsoas muscle? The iliopsoas muscle is a lateral thigh rotator. 11. How many % of body mass constitutes the muscles? More than 40%. 12. What is the function of the sartorius muscle? The sartorius muscle is a flexor of the leg and thigh. Part 8. 1. What is a neuromuscular junction? A neuromuscular junction is where the pulse is transferred from a motor neuron to a skeletal muscle. 2. What is the normal muscle of breathing? The normal muscle of breathing is the diaphragm. 3. What is myopathy? Myopathy is the study of muscle disease. 4. What are myoblasts? Myoblasts is the development of muscle tissue. 5. What percentage constitutes the mass of the skeletal muscles of a man? About 40%. 6. What percentage constitutes the mass of the skeletal muscles of a woman? About 35%. 7. Name the 3 types of muscle fibers. The 3 types of muscle fibers are rapid contracting oxidative fibers, slow contracting oxidative fibers, and fast contracting oxidative fibers. 8. What is myalgia? Myalgia means muscle pain. 9. What is lumbago? Lumbago is back pain in the lumbar region. 10. What name is given to muscle tear? A strain. Part 9. 1. What is a spasm? A spasm is an involuntary contraction of the muscles. 2. What is electromyography? Electromyography is the recording and interpretation of the electrical activity of the muscles. 3. What is a muscular sense? A muscular sense is the ability to know where our muscles are without looking at them. 4. Why does a muscle fatigue during excessive physical activities? A muscle fatigues during excessive physical activities due to an accumulation of lactic acid. 5. How do you call a muscle that is opposed to movement? An antagonist muscle. 6. What is the function of the triceps? Extension of the elbow. 7. What is the function of the gluteus minimus? Abduction and medial rotation of the hip. 8. What is the function of the anterior tibial? Ankle supination, dorsal flexion and adduction. 9. What is the function of the posterior tibial? Reversing the ankle. 10. What is the muscle that attaches to the ribs? The pectoralis major muscle. 11. What is the function of the anterior tibial muscle? The inversion of the foot. Part 10. 1. Give a function of the temporalis muscle. The temporalis muscle helps in chewing. 2. Give some functions of the external oblique. Bending and rotation of the spine. 3. Give a function of the internal oblique. The internal oblique compresses the abdomen. 4. What is the function of the major zygomaticus? The major zygomaticus is a muscle that helps us smile. 5. What is the function of the buccinator muscle? The buccinator muscle helps us chew and blow. 6. What is the function of the brachialis muscle? The brachial muscle helps in flexing the elbow. 7. What is the function of the orbicularis muscle? The orbicularis muscle helps us to close the eye. Part 11. 1. What is the function of the third fibular muscle? Eversion and dorsiflexion of the foot. 2. What is the function of the gluteus medius? Abduction of the thigh and rotation of the leg. 3. What is the function of the gluteus minimus? The gluteus minimus rotates inside the hip and abduction. 4. What is the function of the gluteus maximus? Side rotation and hip extension. 5. What is the function of the biceps femoris? Extension of the hip and flexion of the knee. 6. What is the function of the popliteus muscle? The popliteus muscle unlocks the knee. 7. What is the function of the semimembranosus muscle? The semimembranosus muscle is a flexor knee and hip extender. 8. What is the function of the tendon muscle? Extension of the hip and flexion of the knee. 9. What is the function of the posterior tibialis? Plantar flexion and foot supination. Part 12. 1. What is the function of the short adductor muscle? Flexion and hip adduction. 2. What is the function of the pectinate muscle? Hip adduction and flexion. 3. What is the function of the extensor carpi radials? The extensor carpi radials spreads the wrist. 4. What is the function of the vastus lateralis muscle? The extension of the knee. 5. What is the function of the cubital posterior muscle? Extension of the joints of the fingers. 6. What is the function of the quadratus lumborum muscle? The quadratus lumborum muscle extends the lumbar spine. 7. What is the function of the subclavius muscle? The subclavius muscle depresses the collarbone. 8. What is the function of the intertransversi muscles? Extension of the spine and lateral flexion. 9. What is the function of the supinator muscle? The supinator muscle supinates the forearm. Part 13. 1. What is the function of the anconeus muscle? The anconeus muscle extends the neck. 2. What is the function of the extensor carpi radialis longus? The extensor carpi radialis longus extends the wrist. 3. What is the function of the short thumb extender? The short thumb extender extends the thumb. 4. What is the function of the long neck muscle? Flexion of the neck. 5. What is the function of the long muscle of the head? Flexion of the head. 6. What is the function of the scalene muscle? The scalene muscle raises the ribs. 7. What is the function of the supraspinatus muscle? The supraspinatus muscle raises the arm. 8. What is the function of the opposing muscle of the thumb? The opposing muscle of the thumb opposes the thumb to the fingers. 9. What is the function of the opposing muscle of the little finger? The opposing muscle of the little finger opposes the little finger to the thumb. Conclusion. Thank you once again for listening to this book. I hope it has helped you in your journey to understanding the muscles and movements of the human body.